Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. Welcome to episode 42, BB40Con. Or, I took my emu egg into school today. Or, Craig has a cold. Hashtag sympathy for Craig. Joining me, as always, on this wonderful episode is Rebecca.
Hi.
Hello. Becky, of course, is one half of the BB40 in the con. That'll make sense at some point. But also, the other con that is 40 of the Bs. What's happening?
Craig.
He puts the B in my shelf life. It's Bradley. Hello.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
The B in my shelf life.
That's it. He puts the B in my shelf life.
You can tell you've got a cold today.
But my shelf life.
Oh dear.
Hello, yes. So we are fresh off the back of our board gamer meetup, celebrating the joint 40th birthdays of Brad and Rebecca. That's 80 years old. That's the way I see it. That's how math works.
I'm not 40 yet though, so it's fine.
Oh,
So 79 years old then.
79 years old. Yes. Yes. So we had a wonderful little games day out
We did.
here. And,
Not here.
Not here. No, out there.
In the wilderness.
They don't need... Those people in that microphone don't need to know where we were.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
We were just in a park. It was very cult-like. We played lots of games, and we had a good time, didn't we?
We did. But before we talk about that,
Before we talk about that,
I've got a little, it's not a game. I don't know what you'd call it.
quick fire
Quick-fire.
questions for Brad.
Right. Essentially, you have to think of a board game beginning with each letter that I give you.
Got ya.
Right. So, M.
Mlem.
Y.
Ooh. Yammer.
S.
Snakes and ladders.
Okay.
Classic.
H.
H. There's no board games beginning with H. Histrio.
Nice. E.
E. E. E. E. E. E. E. Exploding minions.
I'm writing these down, by the way. That's why there's a gap. L.
L. Love letter.
I.
Which letter? F.
Yeah.
Flamecraft. I've just realised we're spelling my name.
L.
L.
Yeah.
L. 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 See, that's never a trick question. There aren't games beginning with L. I'm not looking at my shelf at all.
I've noticed he's done this so quickly without looking at the calyx behind him at all. I'm impressed.
Yeah. It's amazing. L. Game beginning with L. You know, I don't think we own any games. Labyrinth.
Oh, okay. I.
I. I. I. No. Ice Cool. I don't even have that game. I was just staring blankly at the calyx and then it came to me.
F.
F. Again. Forbidden Island.
It's your name. Sure. And E.
E. Susie's giving me weird looks. Possibly because I'm just yelling random letters out. Who knows? A game beginning with E. Quickly. Enchanted Forest.
Oh, okay.
You got the B in my shelf life.
No.
Oh.
The B in my shelf life. Oh, I wanted to find a B really quickly, but now I can't find a B really quickly. Boop.
Okay. So, out of Mlem, Yammer, Snakes and Ladders, Histrio, Exploding Minions, Love Letter, Flamecraft, Labyrinth, Ice Cool, Forbidden Island, Enchanted Forest, which is the best game?
History.
Yeah. Very good.
I
Well
was going to say
done.
snakes and ladders, but that'd be too controversial.
Oh, good. Do you want another quick quiz?
Do I have to try and name games off the top of my head again?
No.
Okay, yeah, go for it then.
Yes. The Blood on the Clock Tower character.
Ah, well, from like the description.
So I will give you 5 words, and you have to try and get it from the 5 words. But it will start off abstract, and each word that I give you will give you more clues as to which character we're talking about.
Let's give it a go then. We'll find out how much I am just like winging it when playing Clock Tower now.
Right. First word. Well, first word is 2 words. Trouble brewing.
That could be so many people. The imp.
Okay. No.
I mean, it took it down to about 22. So that
Okay.
A good chance.
So, second word is good.
The chef.
No. Third word, townsfolk.
The mayor.
No. Fourth word, or 2 words, life choice.
Life choice.
Yeah.
Life. Virgin?
Yay! So the last clue would have been unmarried.
Yeah,
I
that
tested
makes
it
sense.
out on Craig earlier, and he said, when it got to life choice, he said mayor.
that is a life choice.
And then only got it when I said unmarried.
I
But yeah.
find that the mayor is a good life choice.
It's not something you just stumble into. You have to choose to be a mayor, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly that.
So yeah, that was my quiz. That was my quiz.
That was very good.
Oh.
Yes.
So, this podcast is sponsored, of course, by 2 companies. One of those companies is the wonderful Shirts and Merch. Shirts and Merch are a fantastic t-shirt and clothing brand that you can find on Etsy that do some of the most comfortable, amazing designs that last. And yeah, they proudly sponsor us, so please check them out. So you can go to Games Night in style with shirts and merch.
Yeah. So, BB40Con. How did it come about?
How did it come about? Well, we both were foolish enough to be born 40 years ago, and people figured we should probably celebrate birthdays to really rub it in how old we are. So
you were going to run your own birthday shindig.
we were, yeah. So we were going to do a shelf con originally and have it down in our bit of Hampshire, and then for various reasons, one being that halls around here cost quite literally an arm and a leg, we kind of parked the idea, and then and then you had the idea of let's just do one together. I was like, that's a lot cheaper. Let's do that. So not that I am a tight-fisted.
Our birthdays are quite close together, aren't they? So
yeah,
it kind of makes sense. A lot of the people that we would be inviting were similar people, and we're lucky enough that the hall that we hire is our local scout hall, so we get a kind of a good rate, I would say. So we decided to do BB40Con, and we set some rules for people, didn't we?
Yeah, so the 4-game rule. So that came about because when we were talking, when me and Susie were talking about like the potential ShelfCon one, we did remark that every time there's one of these kind of meetups, because like it used to be people would like initially, back in like late 2020, early 2021, these meetups evolved from like people meeting up around each other's gardens when we were only allowed to be outdoors in each other's company because of airborne things. But yeah, people wouldn't take too many games with their birds. Exactly, people wouldn't take too many games with them. But then as it moved into halls, it sort of started getting like people would show up with like literal bags of games, like 40 games each kind of thing. It'd just be like the tables would be heaving under all these games, and you see everybody just stood there staring at it, trying to decide which copy of the 20 faraways are on the table they want to play. So we just made the remark of, we should see if we can make people just condense it down. Originally, I wanted to do 1 game each, but I was told that's probably being a bit too mean. So we figured like 4 games each, because when we looked at how many people would potentially be invited, that still worked out at over 100 games bit coming into the building. It's like, that's still more than enough. Most of those won't get played. So if we make people only pick like 4, then they'll bring like the 4 they really like or the 4 they really want to share, not like 20 odd that they think they should just bring, plus the couple that they do want, and just everything gets lost in the noise. So I didn't do it to be mean. I more did it just to like refine the choice down, so then people don't spend 3 hours trying to work out which game to play. It was only an hour and a half because there was half as many games.
It was interesting to see which people actually followed the rule and which people broke the rule.
Yeah.
I may have broken the rule. I had every intention of following the rule, and then I got to like packing the bags, and then we were like, right, well, we need to bring Blood on the Cocktail, and then I was like, but I just want to take this game. I also want to take this game, but actually, some of the games that we did bring, like Fromage and things, got played by other people, so I'm not like too annoyed that I broke the rule. But lots of people did follow the rules and just bring 4 games, which was quite good. But I think it did limit the amount of
the same game that was
and it was good because then you kind of had to choose other people's games to play because you'd only bought 4 of your own. I think that's something that should definitely stick for other cons. I think sometimes you can have way too many games and you never play them, they never come out the bag. Like, why did you bring them?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely been to ones where, like, the games we've brought just haven't been touched. It's not because they're bad games, I mean, some people don't want to work through 10 different copies of Monopoly. But, but, yeah, sometimes you do look at it and think, well, I brought those for no reason. So it's like, well, if we make the pool smaller, maybe things will get a bit more playtime. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. So, what did you end up playing?
So I ended up playing, so I've been trying to rack my brain to remember this, because I know there wasn't too many, so it shouldn't be too hard to remember. Just got to go on mute and cough for a second. Hang on. I do apologise. So, what did I play? So we started off, we played Go Nuts for Donuts as the first game we played. So we played it at the full player count of 6 people. So that was me, Susie, Always Plays Blue, and Mrs. Always Plays Blue. Lee and you. Yeah, we go. Yeah, I was trying to remember who was to my left there.
And we actually ate donuts while playing that game.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, it's great. So, yeah, so we've not played that one at the full player count before. I think we've played as high as 4 people, but so obviously it doesn't play too differently with more people because all you do is introduce more cards into the deck, depending on the amount of people. But, yeah, so that was fun.
That game is really good for introducing people to games because it's quite easy for people to pick up the rules, but it's interesting when you're so you essentially have the numbers 1 to 6, don't you? And you're trying to vie for different donuts. But then if somebody plays the same number as you, then you can't take that donut, that gets discarded. So it's quite a good one for introducing people to games. It's quite simple. Just play a card, see what happens.
Yeah.
And then people get into the strategy of like, oh, actually, I'm trying to go for this, or I know other people are going to go for this, so I'll go for something different. Maybe it's not as high scoring, but nobody will want it, so I'll take that. And it's a good little game.
Do you want to rebrand?
Why?
Because you kept saying introducing people into games. Just forget. Brand guidelines.
Apologies.
I'm not changing my handle to introduce into games.
That's 3 extra syllables.
On air. I can barely remember the intro.
I realised I was plugging my own thing when I was...
During your thing. Always be plug-in, they say.
I just tried to explain it to people who might not play that game.
I liked it. Well done.
Anyway, I think that the playing it with, while actually eating donuts, was quite immersive, I think.
Yeah, definitely added to the to the theme, so that was good. So yeah, so
about bubblegum.
As a flavour, that was a bit much, wasn't it? The donut was okay, as long as you didn't eat the filling. So even the toddler wouldn't eat that. That's how bad it was.
It was lovely that Jenny bought them, but yeah, I think that's where I draw my line with donuts. I think I'll have most fillings, but bubblegum, no.
It's a bit too much. Yeah, bubblegum's a weird filling choice for most things. So
what else did you play?
What else did I play? So we then played a bit of Diced Veggies. So that's another sort of like quite nice light one for introducing people into getting people into games.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, why don't I go and he can stay?
That's it.
So that's not quite as high a player count on that one, but yeah, that's another nice little simple one, just a bit of contract fulfillment and the little cardboard choppy cleaver for pulling dice out of the square in the middle. So that's always fun. So
I really wanted to play that. I was going to actually play it. I was sat down to play that game, and then our friends from Kingston arrived, and I felt like I couldn't just leave them sort of standing on the side, so I had to not play. But I do want to play Dice Wedges again because I liked it the first time I played it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Again, good little game. Like I say, good one for getting people into their shelf life. So
all platforms.
Yeah, solved it. And then we had a little go at Time Troopers. So that's supposed to be a solo game, but we kind of turned it into a free-player cooperative game, which I suppose amounts to the same thing at the end of the day. So we beat the impossible level. So that was a little achievement.
Oh, he said that it was it 95% lose rate?
Something like that, 90, 95. It was quite a high lose rate, yeah. And we just about skin of our teeth did it. So
I've never played that game solo, by the way. Like, we played it together at UKDE. I might have played it solo at...
No, you didn't play it solo at the preview event thing.
No, we didn't. So I don't think I've ever played it solo. I wouldn't say it's a solo game.
I understand why he's marketing it as a solo game, but it definitely lends itself to that co-op kind of decision.
Yeah. I suppose when you're demoing as well, it's probably easier to demo to a team rather than to individuals, isn't it? So
yeah,
I think it's interesting that he's obviously got all the art redone. So
because all of it at the minute is very much sort of AI based, isn't it? They want proper art on there, so yeah.
So that's all been done. So if you get to see Time Troopers at Aircon, then you will see the new artwork, which is very exciting. And we've got our own little designs of Time Trooper cards, haven't we?
We have, yeah. So I presume that, I mean, I don't know if they'll end up being re-arted along with the other ones or not and being there, or if that'll just be a thing that we know exists and it's our little secret. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe we can ask him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, when he sent that to me, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I love it. Just makes me want that game even more.
That's why he's done it. It's going to just send random promo cards to lots of people, and then the game found backers will just swell.
What else did you play?
What else did I play? I played Cities, so I played that with Shelley from, was it Over the Top Games or OTT, yeah. And Jenny and Cara. So that was it. I looked at it on the table. They're like, do you want to play this? I looked at it, I know I recognise this. I think I've played this. And then I sat down and started playing with, yes, I have played this. And I remember what I'm doing. And I think I did okay. I can't remember if I won or not. I don't think I lost. But, yeah. So.
Yeah, it's a nice one, Cities, I think.
Yeah. I
think you'd really like Rebirth. So we've been playing that a lot. And I know you played that with Nick, didn't you? It gives me that kind of Cities vibe, but better. I think.
Yeah, it's really good.
Puzzly.
Yeah, so far the list of games is quite light. The ones that I've played, I haven't played many heavy ones.
Well, I think that's the nature of a con. Like, nobody really sits down to play. Well, I know there's the annual Scythe game.
I was about to say, yeah, there is that, isn't there? The annual Scythe game at that particular meetup. So.
But nobody really sits down to play a big game because I think you want to get as many games as you can with as many people, and I think that's not possible with those heavier games. I think that's where those light games come in, isn't it?
And I suppose if you're teaching people who haven't played it before, that can make the playtime longer as well, because as well as its natural length, you've got all the teach length. So. And
I also think we have the added problem of, not that they're problems, but we have children.
They are.
The attention span for a game without being dragged away to do something or get a child some food or whatever it is, it needs to be short so that you can get up and not disturb you don't want to be out of a game for 15-20 minutes while you go sort out your children while everybody else is just waiting. Although Craig did do that in a couple of games where he was sorting out pizzas, I think.
Yeah.
But, I think lighter games, short 20-minute, half-hour games, perfect for a meet-up, aren't they?
Yeah, ideal.
It's interesting we say that, because when we get to what my last game was, that one did take longer than it needed to, because everybody except one player had a child there and had to at least deal with them on a couple of occasions. But we'll come to that naturally in its chronology. And then, yes, after Cities, there was the obligatory game of Blood on the Clock Tower. Some of the children did get involved in that, so obviously our little toddler was wandering around in the middle of the circle, yelling at everybody and pointing, trying to get everyone to close their eyes.
That was
So
probably the most chaotic game that I've ever had to try to control, because it was fine. I was like, oh, that's fine. It doesn't matter that the kids are on the stage or whatever, and blah blah blah. That doesn't matter. And then it dawned on me as soon as I went, everyone close their eyes, and then I was like, oh shit. I'm now in control of all of these children
who are poking everyone, who thinks it's you, and everyone's opening their eyes.
There was a very good moment though, where little Games with Beanie was wandering on the stage, and Susie was calling him over, and I was in front of Susie. So I put a tiny little claw hand out, and she grabbed my hand and then suddenly realised it was me. Almost screamed. Otherwise, she would have given away the game. I was like, brilliant.
Has to be done.
Yeah.
So I did...
Go on.
As I say, I did feel bad a little bit during that game, because I drew Imp, and we had a lot of new players in there who were a bit too trusting. So I knew half of the Grim potentially as the Imp quite early on, which is one of the reasons I did a self-kill, actually, sort of take myself out of the loop a little bit, because then I didn't feel as guilty for the deaths because I didn't do them. So...
I was really chuffed, though, that John Tryron Games joined in, because he's not before joined in the Clock Tower games.
Yeah.
And our friends from back home joined in and really got properly involved in it. Vicky was proper acting, and I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Like it was an
for
episode
newbies,
of The Traitors.
that's quite good, I think.
Yeah.
And they did have their children with them as well to contend with. So, I was quite impressed. There was quite a lot of different people that we've not played with before, which made it quite interesting. Yeah. And of course, the chaos of the kids just added to the mix. But yeah, it was a good game, I thought.
Yeah. So despite the chaos, it was well managed. So which is always important.
Yeah.
It's a good job, Craig.
I do like to play that game in person. I think
it adds an extra layer versus playing it online, doesn't it? I mean, online's convenient, but
yeah, so. I think it's it's a good party game. Just I would never want to play it more than once. I think at a con, because it takes away from what everybody else can do. But it's really nice to get a group of, say, 10 or so people together and just do it for an hour or so. And
yeah. I mean, there are people that spend all weekend playing it at things like UKGS. I don't know if I could do a weekend of having to constantly lie. It would just burn my brain out.
Yeah. I think it's fun to play, but there are other games that I want to play as well. It's not. I know it's one of my favourite games, but I don't love it so much that I'd want to play that over everything else that's available.
Well, for some people, it's almost a lifestyle choice, isn't it? So, not calling hardcore Clock Tower players virgins, sort of looping back to what you said earlier. But it does feel like a lifestyle choice for some people sometimes. I mean, they're blood on the Clock Tower players. They're not gamers. They're just... like D&D.
I find it is... Sometimes I just find it a lot more interesting with new players or newer players, because when you've got experienced players and they know absolutely everything it could possibly be, every little bit, and they're like, oh, this is either this, and they basically go on night one and they go, these are the potential 6 solves of the entire game, and you're like, well, that's not fun. That's not fun for anyone. You're not letting anyone else solve the mystery, are you? You're just saying what you think, or...
Yeah, but I also think that new players can sway how you're thinking, because they're a bit more chaotic. So, when I play against you, Brad, I kind of know your little tells, or can kind of maybe suss out what you're going to do, what within reason, obviously not completely, but with a new...
That makes one of us. I never know what I'm going to do until I do it.
But with a new player, you don't have any of that, I suppose, what we call meta. Like,
yeah,
Brad did this before, or Susie did this before. With a new player, you're coming out fresh, and they are just pure chaos because they don't really know what they're doing. So they could be helping their team, but they also could be, not helping their team, and that makes it interesting. I think to have a mix of players, it's more fun.
Yeah. It was like when Craig ran a game for my team at work when we did that one online. I mean, some of them, they didn't quite get the concept properly. And I had like townsfolk players, like they worked out who the demon were and then they were forming alliances. It's like, no, guys, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You're just going to hand the game to the evil team. So, but they had fun.
And that's the main thing, isn't it? Just, I think in that game particularly, it's about connections and going off with people to a little cubby hole or whatever and chatting with people, and that's what I love about that game. It just forces your hand to
you have to talk to strangers.
Yeah. What else did you play?
So that's
the only question I asked. What else?
So the last game that I remember playing, because I don't think I played much else after Clock Tower, was Joyride. So I finally got a game of Joyriding because we took the kids to the park for a bit and then came back. So got a game of that in. So May from, I forget what her Instagram handle is, but she's got the big box. So I brought the little retail box, but she's got the big box of all the stuff. So we played on a map I've not played on yet that has a volcano erupting in the middle of it, which is great. So you can do things like deliberately drive through lava because it's quicker, but your car takes damage. But so we had a 4-player game of that, 2 complete newbies, 2 people that had played it before. But because of the kids, it took about 2 hours or so to play. But everyone enjoyed it despite that. So it did work.
Tell me about that game, because I don't know much about it.
So
I know that everybody kind of loves it.
So basically, it's kind of a chaotic racing game, I suppose is the best way to put it. So you've got checkpoints around the map, and you've got to get your car through the checkpoints in the right order. It might be a certain number of laps, you have to do that a certain number of times. The direction you drive across the checkpoints doesn't matter as long as you do them in the right order. So the map that we had set up, for example, there was a couple of ways, depending on how people had approached the checkpoint. They might go swing around one way or the other, so we had people driving the opposite ways around the track. So there was like the potential for a few collisions and things like that. And then the thing with this game as well, it's similar to the Gaslands game. I don't know if you've seen that, where people take toy cars and modify them. That one's very much template driven. So the moment you pick up a template, you're committed to that. And depending on what gear your car's in, depends on what template you can go, higher gear, bigger template. And you put it down, and if it turns out you're going to smash into something tough, you've made that decision. You have to run with it. This is similar, but it's dice-driven. So it's like you decide how many dice you want to lock to play it safe, how many you'll then later on roll after gear changing. And if you roll a big number and hit a wall tough, you've rolled a big number, you're going to hit the wall and you've got to deal with that. So it's kind of similar in that respect of you can try and plan, but the game will have other ideas and then you've got to do the best you can with it. So it's kind of hand management, but trying to push your luck without pushing it too hard. And then the cars come with abilities as well, like things like handbrake turns, stuff like that. So if you need to get around a tight corner, you can do. You can only do that so many times in the game. And then there's weapons, mines, oil slicks, airstrikes, that kind of thing as well. So if you really want to mess with people, you can like drop a mine and blow them up, things like that. So yeah, it's just a very chaotic destruction derby kind of game. So I'm going to have another coughing fit. Hang on.
So what I want to know is, have you got your eye on the big box now? Is that do you need it in your life, or is the retail version just fine enough, or are you going to meet up with May so you can play it more often?
I think I'm okay with owning just the retail one. So when I bought it from the Oxford Thirsty Meeples, and they did have one of the extra cars in the shop, and they tried upselling me to buy the extra car as well. I was like, no, I'm going to be a good boy. I'm going to see how the base game plays before I commit to any expansions and bits like that. The big box, I mean, it's got everything in it, but you can buy all the bits separate. So the only bits I'm really interested in would be like the extra map that we played on at the weekend. So I'll probably buy that, but I'm not too worried about adding the extra cars. And then one of the maps is a smaller one for the 2-player dual version anyway, which is a separate box that's going to come out later in the year. So if I really desperately want that, I could probably buy that separate. But all I really want's a volcano. I mean, what makes your racing game better than an erupting volcano?
Does it play well enough? Does it play right at 2, like without needing a duel? Because it doesn't.
When I've played it with Susie, we've played a couple of times on the full-size map. It's played fine at 2 players. I mean, I'm my own worst enemy in that I like to get the car off the line and into the highest gear possible quite early, but that means having to try and slow down without crash quite early as well. So I'm usually more sort of racing against myself because I make terrible decisions. But we have made it work at 2 players. You just make the tracks a bit more wiggly to slow people down so people can't just completely get away with it. Things like that, because you can have it that like you can just have straight runs along the top and the bottom, which means people can get a big run up. So you can mitigate that with obstacles and changing where the checkpoints are. So you can make it work on that map for 2 people. So
I'm excited to try that out when we next come to you, because that sounds fun.
It's a fun little game. So, and then what they do for the learning curve as well, there's 3 just like very standard abilities that's available to all cars. So when you have people playing for the first time, you give everyone those abilities. But all the cars also have their own asymmetric abilities. So if you've got more experienced players playing, you can put those in instead, and it gets a little bit more devious. So
Nice, cool.
That's good.
What did you play, Craig?
Oh, what did I play?
Because what is quite interesting at these cons, and I'm sure you found this with Susie, is that in the car on the way back, we found out we had like entirely different experiences of the mini con, because we played completely different games, because we didn't stick together. We went off in little groups. So it's quite nice, because then you get to talk about like double the amount of games, because
yeah, it was good. I started off with, as I seem to do quite a lot now, is teach of Wandering Towers, which is just great, and we got the upgrades, so really cool. Everyone enjoyed that. That was a good one. Played that with Craig from Midland Meeple, Matthew, Jenny, and Shut Much himself, which was lovely. You
played a raucous game of Ito.
I played a game of Ito, which is somehow, I don't know how it happens. I really don't know how it happens, but every time I end up playing some really chaotic game that's just filled with lots of noise and laughter. I don't know how it happens.
I think we had to come over at one point because you were all hilariously laughing.
I think we all
what's going on?
Couldn't really breathe. So Ito is essentially, it's better than the mind. It's so you'll have your Delta card and you have a number, and then you pick a sentence, like a statement, like worst thing to be covered in, or best thing to be covered in, and like so 0 is like the best thing, 100 is the worst thing, and you're all trying to play your cards down, face down, and trying to guess by saying a statement like worst thing to be covered in, lava. And you put that up the high end, and then a duvet, you put that down the lower end. And you're trying to work out like the order of things. Then you flip it over. If you get them all right, the next round everyone gets dealt 2 cards. There's like an extra card handed in. It's so good. It's a really, really good.
So a bit like the mind, but blind. But you can kind of give a hint as to what your card is based on. What you say.
Yeah.
I say, or a bit like Bang Out of Order as well, but more bantery.
I think the hilarity came in the statements that people were using to define the card. Right?
Yeah, because it's like it's a Japanese, I think, game, and so there's translation issues anyway when it comes to the. So it's like having Deception Murder in Hong Kong has some like really stupid things, like a fish or like they've got really
What's stupid about a fish,
or like
as a murder weapon, it's not great.
Or like random things like kill a robot, like like really strange kind of things that are a bit out there. And one of the ones we had was, what is the best thing to shout when you are using your signature move? So that was a bit chaotic.
That's where all the Haldoukens and take that bitch and all of that came from, right?
Yeah. That's exactly where all of that came from. And John's terrible diarrhea.
Yeah. What a finishing move.
Yeah. What else did we play? I played Tinker Tailor with we played Tinker Tailor. Tinker Tailor, as we spoke about last time on the pod, is just a really cool like mix of a coup, love letter, Port Royale kind of game. Also, with that group, we played a amazing game of Cockroach Poker.
Great game.
Which is just so good.
We just bought it, actually.
Yeah, we just bought Cockroach Poker Royale, which has got some slightly different cards in.
Ooh.
That apparently do some different things. I don't know what they do, but they do things.
Have you tried Cheating Moth?
Not yet, no.
I was going to say, if you've tried that, I was going to ask which is your preferred out of the two, but never mind. Get it and then let us know.
We went to the dice box for our little one's birthday, and Craig said, I wonder if they could play Cockroach Poker. And then we played it, and it was so funny because our eldest could not play it. Everything she said, we kept saying yes or no, and she ended up with all the cards. And the littlest was like laughing because she was like, this is definitely a bat. And then she's really like, so she would make Craig think that she was lying by the face that she did, and then Craig was like,
quite good at cheese thief as well, isn't she? So yeah.
So she was like, she knew what she was doing. I was like, oh my god, this is actually quite scary.
Yeah. It's an easy one to teach, actually. I think kids of any age, as long as they can use basic language and can recognise a picture, should be able to play that one, because it is just tell the truth or lie. It's like It's Not a Hat, or whatever it's called. I taught that to a group of like 6-year-olds a little while ago. They got the general idea of it, you know. So, yeah.
It's a good one.
It was good fun.
Also played High Society, which is a Knizia bidding game.
Yes.
Susie as well. That's really cool, because there's a really cool thing about that is you're bidding to get these cards and earn the most money. But you're bidding like money to earn these cards, and there are cards that multiply, and there's cards that are bad, cards that are dividing. So you're trying to bid to not take the card, or you're trying to bid to take the card, kind of thing. So there's different ways of that. But at the end of the game, whoever's got the least amount of money is, because they're poor, they're shunned from society, so they automatically lose. So
I think I've played that. Is that Nick's game, Board Game Review? That says, yeah.
So Ali always plays Blue's partner. She had loads of points, but then when we counted up the money, she had the least amount. So even though she had loads of points, she immediately had 0 points and lost. And I managed to sneak in a win just because of that. I was like, oh my god, this is so good. So that was a really, really nice, easy game.
We played Rebirth, and then we had to buy it.
We played Rebirth, and then we bought Rebirth. So good.
That's how these things work.
Yeah, it's just such a good area. Majority.
I think you said, I think there's one left on Kinder, so I think we might have to get it, because otherwise it's going to be sold out. And I felt sorry for you, so
I would have bought it. I would have bought it this month, the end of this month, but I think it would have been gone. It is gone.
Yeah.
It is now. Yeah, you bought it.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
It's just pure area control. You place a thing on the board. You place a farm, an energy farm, or a food farm. And then you place a castle and a cathedral, and the cathedrals give you bonuses. And you place houses to build settlements, and then the settlements score differently.
But you're also trying to connect your own ones, because then you get points.
Yeah, you play one energy, you get 1 point. You play an energy next to that, you get 2 points, and it links together. It's just so simple to teach, and it's so strategically thinky. It's so good.
Yeah, really good.
Definitely a very, very good little game.
And we played
What else did I say?
Strange.
Oh yes, Strange World Above the Clouds, which is a game that Marie bought. And she bought it from Essen, and it was a Japanese game, but it's actually been picked up by Hachette, so it'll actually be available this year through Hachette. It is one of those games that's got the same scoring method as Castle Combo and Alpina. You're trying to make a grid of 4x4 cards, but what's quite cool about this one is that if you can't the cards have legal placements, so like you can't put a swamp in a row where there's already a swamp, and if it does, you have to turn it over. And on the back of the cards is this really adorable little cuddle monster. He's really cute, but he's eating the land, and apparently he's bad. But I don't think she's taught it right. I think they're really good to have. That's why I had loads of them.
Did you win?
They turn over, and then there's these volcano cards, and if you put a volcano card next to another card, you cover up a card with this mist. But then if you have these two volcanoes that create two lots of mist, you then
you then die.
You then die.
Sorry.
Oh, gosh, you too.
You then get a secret like building amongst the clouds, and that scores you loads of points. It's quite interesting. Strange name, but it's a good game. Yeah, fun, enjoyed.
Were they all the games that you played?
Other than the obvious, the Clocky Towers, and I probably played some others. I played things like Ghost Blitz and Get Off the Laptop Cat. I didn't play Get Off the Laptop Cat. That was a different game.
Oh, can you imagine that was the game? Get Off the Laptop Cat.
I played.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, copyright that.
Yeah. I played Walk Around the Hall with an Emu Egg and get overly excited.
How many emu eggs were dished out? Because was it just the one emu egg, or was there more than one?
No, I think there were 3 in total.
Got you. Because I know somebody was planning to cook theirs, so.
Yeah. Well, she put me off cooking it because she said that they don't have the stamp, like eggs have the.
Oh yeah, the salmonella stuff. Yeah.
They couldn't guarantee that it was salmonella free, so I was like, I might not want to be the person that tests that out.
Just fair.
But it was cool to see an emu egg. I took it into school today, and
Yeah, I did see it. It's like all green and stuff, isn't it?
It's the ultimate board game upgrade. My games of Wingspan will never be the same again.
Or just an emu egg.
I played a few new games.
Did
Wanna
you
hear about them?
I would like to hear about your few new games.
Yes.
That was very loud.
Let me hear.
So I played, which I was quite excited about, River Glassworks. Have either of you played them?
No, I've heard of it.
You knew that question.
No, I know the answer to you, but I was being polite and asking everybody at the table, as you do. Anyway,
hello, Jupiter.
I've seen lots of pictures on Instagram of these beautiful kind of pieces of glass, and the artwork in this game is absolutely amazing. I think we played Mashy Meeple's version, but Shelley taught it to us, and it's a really cool puzzly type game. You have to collect bits of glass. The river moves. The river is like perspex, clear perspex, and as you take something from the river moves, so it's like ever changing. And you have to score by colour and amount of the same colour glass that you have. It's really nice. It's really pretty. I think the deluxe version is way better than the normal version.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I need it in my life. I'll play it if someone has it, because it is beautiful and I did enjoy it. But I just don't reckon I need it in my collection. It's not good enough that I think, oh, yeah, I want to play that again immediately.
How pretty is it compared to Everdell?
Like, same amount of pretty.
Oh, that's a lot of pretty.
That it is really pretty.
Yeah. And,
like, if you had it, then I would be, like, playing it when I come to your house. But I don't think that I need it in my I don't know. I don't think there's enough there for me to keep going back. I feel like it's one of those games where you might just get a strategy and that works every time.
Yeah. What's interesting is obviously, because I've got the video feed here, which people listening to the podcast won't have, you can literally see Becky looking confused at herself saying, I like it, but I don't know if I need it. She's like, can I use these words in this order? Am I allowed to say that?
Well,
I think there's a lot of games that now have the same Everdell-esque selling points.
Yeah.
Of
most of them are Everdell.
Yeah, incredible, cute critters and creatures. But there's the game behind it isn't full of like. There's not a lot behind it.
I think
It's
I
all
think
bravado, all shiny.
I think you see it on Instagram and go, "Oh, I must have that." And then I think it's a game that you get, you play it a few times because it's cool. You bring it out to your friends because it's new and they don't have it.
Yeah.
And then you put it on the shelf, and you may not play it for 6 months because it's okay. Just okay.
Yeah, it's like Flamecraft. If it didn't have the theme that it has and the production, it would potentially be.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just another game.
It's a good game. I'm not saying it's not a good. Like it's fine. It's an enjoyable game. I would play it at somebody else's house. I just don't need it. I just don't need to buy it, which is good because that's showing restraint, right?
Yes.
Don't need to buy all of the game.
Not personal growth.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I played. I think you would like. You might have you played this, Brad? Feed the Kraken.
Feed the Kraken. Feed the Kraken. Feed the Kraken. I feel like I've played it. I've played a game with a Kraken in it.
It's Harrison's favourite game. And it's social deduction, basically. And there are sailors, there are pirates, and there is a
cultist.
Kraken leader. You're trying to move the ship to your base area, but each turn, someone is the captain, someone is the lieutenant, and someone is the navigator. The captain and the lieutenant will choose a card each for the direction. They put it in a box, they shake it up, and then the navigator chooses which card they play. There are different things that happen as you move across the board, but essentially you're trying to work out who's pirates, who's sailors, who's the Kraken leader. The Kraken leader wants to get thrown off the boat. Yeah, it's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. But, you know, if you like Blood on the Clock Tower and Murder, Deception, Hong Kong...
Sounds a bit like Stop the Train, but with a boat.
Yeah, definitely. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. And I think there were 8 of us who played. So that was nice. And then the last game, we played Can't Go.
Yep. We played John's.
I felt really bad because we took John's new prototype, or is it
it's an actual copy now, yeah.
And it was all in its actual
wrapping. Completely sealed, never been opened.
You completely unwrapped it and punched it and everything. It's I
did ask him beforehand, and he said, yeah, that's fine. But as I was trying to, unwrap it and take the cards out, I thought, oh no, I feel bad.
And afterwards, I was trying to slide the cards back into the paper. I was like, they're not going in.
But we played that with our friends because our friend is a biomedical scientist, so we thought that might be a good one to start to get them.
Yeah.
Get them into games.
Well done. Sorry, we're using introduce now.
And it did actually. It broke the ice because we'd not seen them for quite a long time. It was quite funny, and it was
nothing breaks the ice like a mega poo.
Yeah. It was quite a good way to start the games day, and then from that we played Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza with the kids, which was quite nice.
Yeah. 13 Beavers.
13 Beavers, and they went on to play Stomp the Plank. But what was really nice is that they obviously didn't know anybody, but we played a few games, and then Ruth from Mashy Meeples then said, I'll teach you Stomp the Plank. And that's what I think is great about these convention type things, when you get a load of people together, because it doesn't matter who's friends with who, everybody just kind of mucks in and says, have you played this? Let me teach you this. And then, everyone feels part of it, which I think is lovely. The last game I played, which I'd not heard of, well, I had heard of it, but I've not played it before, was the Fox Experiment. Have you heard
I've heard of it, but not played it, yeah. Is that the one where you're trying to breed domesticated foxes, or have I made that up?
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay,
so
cool.
You're trying to make foxes friendlier. It's essentially a roll and write, but what's really cool is you take two parents, so you have the male and the female, and then they give you a certain amount of dice, and then you roll the dice, but you have a deck of new foxes, so you turn one over, and then you actually get to write the name of the new fox that you've made, and you assign the dice, etc., to how friendly it is, blah blah blah. But it was really good. It was very enjoyable, and the Midland people taught us that.
Is it Elizabeth Hargrave?
Oh, you don't know? You were talking about
it.
it.
It is, yeah. Same designer as Wingspan.
But it played
So
really
it's Foxspan.
Yeah.
It was easy to pick up, and it didn't feel too long at 4 players. So I'm definitely, that one's on my radar for potentially purchasing. But yeah, that was good.
I think Susie put a few on the wish list as well, actually, after that weekend. See if I can find it. Because
it always makes you think, oh, what if I had that one? But then I guess it's really nice because now we know who has what games. We can always, meet up with those people and say, can you bring that game because we really want to play it again.
Superstore 3000, that's all that got added to the list after the weekend. So we're on a buying ban until UKGE, essentially. So we're writing down a list of games we want to try and find at UKGE.
Well, we have Superstore 3000, so you can play that anytime.
That was the copy they played.
Yeah.
But I think they were horrified, Craig. Horrified.
It was brilliant that they played it.
When they opened the box and found how you had left it.
Yeah, at least they tidied it for him.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'd made a reel, and a lovely unboxing reel, as I do.
And then forgot that you'd done
And then I just was on, quick, so I just kind of put it in the box haphazardly. kind of in the box. And then, and then it was lovely, all tidied up. And now it's really good. It's here, somewhere on the floor.
Felt for poor Nick. You could see him fondling through it, trying to get things out without trying to faint. It's just...
The one thing I do wish at these conventions is that there would be some kind of other way of potentially getting games to meet up. So maybe even a library where you could essentially, rent board games before you play the board games. Which leads me to another point, that this podcast is sponsored by Rent, Shuffle and Roll. Rent, Shuffle and Roll is a board game rental service where you can rent board games for money a month. And if you use code GITG50, you can get 50% off of the money. So it costs you less money per month. So check out rentshuffleandroll.co.uk today to find your next favoritistic board game. That's rentshuffleandroll.co.uk using code GITG50.
We should have a dictionary. Oh dear. We should have a dictionary of all the words that you make up on the podcast.
I don't make up any words.
So, what were your takeaways from the convention? Did you have a nice time?
No, hated it.
This cough was a takeaway. No, I had that beforehand. Start that again. Yeah, no, enjoyed it. It was a fun day. So I think the thing for us actually that impressed us the most was that the toddler didn't nap and pretty much made it through the whole day up until about 7 o'clock when he decided to lay down in the middle of the floor and try and fall asleep. So the fact that we managed to get all the way through to that late in the day without either kid going absolutely insane was that in itself was a small win. So, and then the other big win, I actually finally won a game of Joyride as well. So that's So no, I thought it was a good day. So it was nice that people showed up to celebrate us. I try to say that and sound humble because I'm a naturally arrogant person, but but no, it was good. So yeah,
I think I always come away from those days feeling just incredibly
exhausted.
Well, yeah, that. But incredibly blessed that we've met all these amazing people that have the same hobby as us, and there's never any weirdness or awkwardness or everybody just mucks in. Everybody brings some food. Everybody's kind of happy, and we all play with different people throughout the. It just always works, and I just always think, why isn't life like this? I just want to always spend more time with these people. It's cool. I love it.
I mean, the only things I've been to that are kind of similar is there's been a few war game tournaments in the past, but they're definitely very much alpha gamer, testosterone affairs. No one's as friendly. And then there was that one furry convention that one time, and that's just a weird room of people to be in. I don't recommend that. So I was introduced by my friend who is a badger to everybody as, this is Brad. he's a human. Like he was disappointed in the fact that I'm just a human. This is a tiger, this is a lion, this is a wolf, this is a dragon. Human. I apologise.
Get invited back.
No, I never went back. So
if you could pick a 40th birthday menu of games to play, what would your starter, main course, and dessert be?
Ooh, okay. So I'm working backwards. No, starting from the middle. Joyride is the main course. You know what? I've not mentioned it yet, and normally I mention it as often as possible. Let's throw Sakura in there as game one, followed by Joyride, followed by, just because it's quite cool and people should play it more, Dice Veggies. Yeah.
What would yours?
What about you?
Me, I would like...
Because you are 42. So
I'm
you
42.
can join in the 40.
No, I'm not. I'm 40.
Well, maybe you could be 42.
It's episode 42.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's why it's episode 42, because you're 42.
There we go.
Oh, I've changed the title. Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air. Welcome to episode 42. 42. You're 42. So, my starter would be... Like Wandering Towers seems to be the perfect starter for all things. But no, I think a good starter would be Cockroach Poker. Then I am going to say... I'm going to say Rebirth. And then I'm going to say High Society. Just going to say those. That was I think that would be a perfect menu.
I think I'm going to say I really want to play Ito or or however you say it. So I think that would be a good starter.
Yeah.
So this is what I would like you to get for my birthday.
Okay.
It's not going to happen because one of the things one of the things can't be bought, but
what?
I'll just wait till it can be bought.
The kidney of a human sparrow.
No. Human sparrow. What are you on about? Right.
That's what.
So, I think Ito to start.
Oh yes.
Then I think Feed the Kraken. I'm going to change it from Blood on the Cocktail. So I think everybody should play Feed the Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
And then they should finish up with Time Troopers.
Okay.
And they're the games I want for my birthday.
Okay.
So Time Troopers is the non-achievable one there. Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen the price of Feed the Kraken. I think two of them are unachievable.
No,
Well, I have heard you can get Time Troopers for the low price of a new bag for life. So,
true, yeah.
there's no point having Feed the Kraken because I'd need to have 8 friends that would be willing to play it with me all of the time. But I'm just going to invite Harrison to everything, so he brings Feed the Kraken to everything, and then I can play a game with Feed the Kraken every time.
Yeah,
it's a sound plan.
11, doesn't it? I think minimum's like 5, probably.
Yeah, but it's better with more players.
Oh yeah.
But you've got to have. It's like you'd have to choose whether to play that or Clock Tower, and I don't want to choose.
Yeah, you didn't. You played both.
I did, but I feel like that's just the way it happened. I don't think that would happen at every time you met up.
But
yeah.
I think also you probably need to, a bit like Hit the Silk, you really need to just get into that mood, really go into the role.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
That's okay. Thank you for having me.
Everything BB40Con.
Yes.
Thank you for coughing, both of you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I feel like Brad just did that one just for extra,
Well, I felt the tickle there. I just let it go. So, yeah.
Why don't you tell the lovely folks in Listenerland where they can find you?
In his house.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now. So, somewhere in Hampshire. So they can find me on Instagram at my_shelflife. That's an underscore symbol, not the word underscore. That would be weird. Not that I'm particularly active at the moment. I'm posting once a week instead of 3 times a day. But, I'm still alive. I'm still there. So.
And you're My Shelf Life on TikTok and other things, aren't you?
Well, I've got a TikTok. I don't post much on there. I did that more just so I made sure I had the name. So, but yeah, so.
And where can they find you?
I don't know, wherever you are.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. I'm off down the pub. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Please remember to leave a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice.
Even if it's not 5 stars, just leave a 5-star review.
Yeah, I don't care how you feel about it.
Well, if the maximum is 10.
Like awful podcasts, they keep coughing. 5 stars. Yeah, and remember to enjoy your life. And let us know what games you would play at BB40Con if you were invited. If you're listening and you don't feel like you were invited, I'm sorry, but you probably were. No, everyone's invited. Thanks so much for listening.
All the listeners turn off.
Yeah, click.
Right at the end of the podcast, it's fine. So...
Yeah, right at the end.
No one listens to the end.
The only people that do, obviously, will leave a comment on the Instagram post that says, #get off the laptop, cat. So if you've listened this far, please put #get off the laptop, cat. And I know that you are a true supporter of the podcast. And thank you for the £50 check.
And remember to...
remember to get into Brad.
No.
What?
Introduce people to games.
Oh, yeah.
And remember to get emu eggs.
Get emu eggs into game. Ooh.
Oh, maybe there's a game about emu eggs we could create.
It could be like Dodo.
No, because we don't want to steal.
And it could be called Emu.
Emu spam.
You're probably better than that. It'll be the spin-off to Get Off the Laptop Cat.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, get off the emu egg, cat.
Oh, and remember to
finish the sentence. Remember to get into games. Toodle pips and goodbye for some toodles. Bye bye.